Welcome to Who's Up Next, a video podcast for journal junkies. I'm Sally Bell, your host, and I will be interviewing one of our favorite artists. So grab a cup of coffee, get comfy, and let's see who's up next. Welcome to Who's Up Next.
Hi, Sally. Thanks for having me.
Oh, you're certainly welcome. It's a pleasure to have you here. Tell us about you, a little bit about you, where you live, what you do, family-wise.
So I live in Virginia, Northern Virginia, just outside of Washington, D.C. And I love junk journaling. And I also am a teacher, high school English teacher.
Wow.
And I have 2 children and a wonderful husband, and love living in Virginia. I'm not originally from here. I grew up in St. Paul, Minnesota, and then spent time in a lot of different states and even in Canada for about 5 years, but
Really?
I've been settled here in Virginia for quite a while.
Oh, that's great. That's great. And you're a high school English teacher. Ooh, so I need to watch my grammar. Is that what you're saying?
No. I'm off
correct
duty.
me.
I'm off duty.
Okay. How is that? I always thought that might be kind of fun to teach high school.
It's super fun. Yeah, it's a lot of challenges for sure.
Right.
Especially through the pandemic, but there's a lot of good that goes along with it. I really enjoy working with the young people. Keeps me young.
Yeah, that's great. Tell us how long you've been journaling.
So I actually started journaling, just the writing in a journal, since I was a young girl. I remember in elementary school making little journals and little booklets by stapling papers together and writing in them. So I also loved journaling in college. I had an English professor who was very big on journaling and had us writing every day basically in our journal then. And over the years, that's been a big passion of mine. But the junk journaling and turning them into visually stunning books, just basically I got into that during the pandemic. So about 4 years ago.
Yeah, that's great. I'll bet you never dreamed when you were a little girl stapling papers together that you'd be tea dyeing those papers.
Yes, tea dyeing, coffee dyeing, avocado dyeing, rose petal dyeing. I'd try all different kinds.
I noticed that, and I went to your Etsy store and saw all the pretty papers. Yeah, tell us about that. How did you get started doing that, and what are the different mediums that you use to tea dye?
So I love the dyeing of
papers.
papers.
Not tea dye. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yes. So basically, my sister is the one that got me started in the junk journals. She was doing it before I was, and she used to send me the most beautiful journals. And then that kind of got me hooked. Just like, oh, how did you get the paper this color? This is so cool. And the way it feels is so awesome too. And so she's the one that told me, oh, I do tea dyeing, coffee dyeing, and avocado dyeing. So then I started getting interested and checking into doing it myself, watched a lot of videos, asked her for a lot of help, and then just experimented. It was just a lot of different experimentation. And that's probably one of the things I love about the hand dyeing of paper, because I'm still experimenting. I try new things all the time. So, like I do coffee and tea together a lot because I love the mixed effect on it. And so I'll do a different portion of coffee, different portion of tea each time. So it's always a variety, and I love the variety. And so yeah, there's not like a special recipe that I follow. I do it differently every time because I think that's part of the fun.
Yeah, kind of a surprise. Yeah. Have you, I've done some dyeing with the purple cabbage, and it comes out kind of a real pretty blue. Have you tried that one?
I have, yes.
Yeah.
I liked
Yeah.
doing the cabbage.
Uh-huh.
And the color is really cool on that. Some of it was bluer, some of it was more purple.
Yeah.
So that was a really neat
That
one.
one's a
I
good one.
just I didn't do that as in bulk, so I had a few sets of that, but once they
Mm-hmm.
sold out, I didn't really do
Oh.
that again. I also did the onion skins, and the
Oh.
red rose petals gets a really beautiful color of purple as well.
Oh. I'll have to try that this year when my roses bloom.
Hmm. Yeah, that's a fun one. And it's
Yeah.
surprising because you think red roses, how is that going to give you purple? But it
Yeah.
does.
Well, you sure get some weird, like onion skin. Oh, well, avocado. You get pink. I mean, really? I'm
Hmm.
always shocked at what color you get, and it's kind of interesting. How about the onion skins? Do they do purple too, or pink,
So
or?
those were more of a browner color, but I
Mm,
didn't do a lot with that. I think the one I've done the most, I love the avocado dyed paper, and to me that's kind of a specialty item and it sells
mm-hmm,
really well in my shop and
mm-hmm.
it's fun and I love eating avocado. So I always have the pits and the peels
Yeah.
in my freezer. So I just take them out of the freezer,
Oh,
pop them in a pot of water, boil them up, and then, so I have that going most of the time.
right.
And I love the different shades of pink, the ballerina soft pink, the vintage,
Yeah.
peachy pink, and then sometimes it gets the more bold, bright pink. And
Oh,
so that's
wow.
probably my
Pretty.
favorite color.
Yeah, that's really pretty. And you said ballerina. You did that beautiful ballerina journal. I love it.
Oh,
And yeah, it's really pretty. Yeah, I suggest our audience go and visit and see that one. It's gorgeous.
thank
Um,
you.
let's see. In your paper dyeing, you also do. I don't know if you use doilies or you get the impression, not impression, but like it's like a stenciled look.
Yes. So
That's
that's
pretty.
another really fun thing I've experimented with.
Uh-huh.
And the trick there is using plastic doilies because
Oh,
I know some people use paper doilies and did try that, but I feel
uh-huh.
like it's so hard they tend to shred. But
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I got some plastic doilies and basically they're like I think one was a tablecloth, a plastic tablecloth, and another one was the plastic placemats.
Oh,
And I just, I think I just Googled it, and I believe one of them came from Amazon, and I forget the other source, but I cut it up into smaller pieces, and then I would lay it on the paper.
uh-huh.
And so, yeah, that's really fun. And those were for the lace patterns, but then you can also use stencils for
Mhm.
the
Oh,
more of
yeah.
a variety of different shapes. And
Right. Sure. Yeah, those are very pretty.
thank you.
Um, you use some beautiful French ephemera, and I've always wanted to go to Paris and get some of my own at the Paris flea market. Wouldn't that be fun?
That would be awesome. Yes.
I know. So, where do you get all your good stuff? Are you willing to give up your secrets?
Oh, sure. I posted on my YouTube channel too when I'm sharing the French ephemera. I do sometimes the unboxing videos,
Mm-hmm.
and I've used a couple different sources. So, Mauricita she has an Instagram and she will post I believe hers came in like a Google slideshow and you could look through all the different slides and find all the different French ephemera, and I've ordered from her a few times.
Mm,
And then a Greek chick, a paper hoarder on Instagram,
yeah.
also have gotten some wonderful things from her, and Sarah at Petite Papier Shop, which used to be
Mm.
Crafty Paper Bits.
Ah, wow, you have some good sources.
Hmm.
Yeah, good. Is that where they get theirs at the Paris flea market?
I think I do follow a lot of the Paris flea markets on Instagram, so I'm always looking at those too, and I love them. I have also
Yeah,
sourced some things from Etsy shops, just randomly searching up French ephemera on
right.
Etsy. There's a whole bunch of sources there
Yeah,
too.
yeah. It can get expensive too.
Well, I've noticed the price has gone up a lot in the last year. I think it just got really popular. So I said, okay, I'm going to have to curtail some of my buying and
Right.
just use the ones that I have already.
Exactly. Um, okay, so let's talk about your style. Let's pretend that our audience has never seen your stuff. They've never seen your Etsy store or your YouTube or Instagram. Tell them what to expect when they go there.
So I would say my style is romantic, vintage, French, little shabby chic, some of the grungy look, but also elegant mixed together. So you have that combination of the, old vintage kind of worn out look mixed with the beautiful romantic lace and, floral images, roses, that type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, and a lot of neutrals and
Yeah, yeah.
soft pinks.
I'd say you hit that dead on. Your stuff is gorgeous, and yeah, that was a very good description. Now, see, everyone left our video and they're running to your YouTube. Yeah, it's very pretty. Um, does your style fit your personality? I always ask that, but do you think so?
I think so. Yeah. And I think what else is cool is even though that's my main style, I also like to branch out from time to time and try different things.
Mm-hmm.
So, like when I first started the junk journaling, I was a little bit more into the mixed media and eclectic, kind of more colorful tones. It's just, I'm very drawn to the vintage French. I've always loved France and I have Eiffel Towers all over the place in my
Oh,
studio. And so I like other French things, the culture, the language. I studied French, and I have been
wow.
there a couple of times, but
Oh,
I am planning another trip
uh-huh.
eventually to go back. And so I am planning to hit some of those Paris markets
Yeah.
myself. But um, yeah,
And
I love that stuff, but I also like trying other things too.
right, right. When you go to Paris, you'll have to let me know what you find. My daughter and I are planning to take my granddaughter on her 16th birthday, which will be a couple more years, but that's what we're planning.
Oh, that's awesome.
And do Disneyland there too, which will be fun.
Hmm.
Um, where do you post on social media?
So I mainly post on Instagram and I love the junk journal community on Instagram. I'd say
Mm-hmm.
that was the first thing that I started. My YouTube channel actually only started last July when
Ah,
I was inspired by Nick the Booksmith was doing a Jane
yes.
Austen journal and I was like, that's so fun. So I ended up
Yeah.
making one and then I got hooked and I really liked it. And it's been a great opportunity. People have reached out to me and asked me to be on their design team and it's just opened
Oh,
a lot of new opportunities. So I think
yeah.
I would encourage everyone to start a YouTube channel. It's really fun to
Yeah,
connect
great.
with people.
Yeah, there's a great community of journalers out there. Yeah, it's fun. Are you on any design teams now?
Yes, I am actually. Anne from Odolcina
Mm-hmm.
Scrap had invited me to be on her design team, and also
Ooh.
Sylvia from, I'm going to say it wrong probably, but Los Mimi Amoir. She's from
Ooh.
Switzerland
Oh,
and has beautiful digitals. So I am just
oh,
starting that in April. Actually, it's a brand new one. So I'm
oh,
excited about
fun.
that.
Oh, I'll have to watch and see how that goes. That'll be fun. Um, you use digitals, other people's digitals in your journals. Do you use some more than others? Some designers more than others, or um,
So I would
not
say
necessarily?
I've just recently kind of started using more digitals.
Uh huh.
When I first started, it was mostly all of my own hand dyed papers and, I have a lot of antique and vintage music sheets and
Mm-hmm.
book pages. I have a big collection of French books that I used to just collect French books because I love France.
Mm-hmm.
But now I'm like, oh, are there some that are falling apart that I could rip the pages out and
Right.
put in my journals? And I do pattern paper, like sewing patterns and
Mm-hmm.
just all different kind of papers that I have sourced
Right.
from. I also love going to antique shops, thrift
Right.
stores,
Right.
estate sales. All of those places are very inspirational for the vintage papers. And then just recently, I started adding more of the digitals into my journals with these other found papers. And I think
Mm-hmm.
it's been really fun to do that. And I use um, mostly ruby and pearl,
Mm-hmm. Love her stuff.
Sampool designs.
Yeah.
Bontic Vintage is beautiful florals. I'm using those in the ballerina journal.
Uh-huh.
And then, of course, my new design teams. So Odalcina and Los Mimi Amoir.
Oh.
And my sister has digitals that I love as well, Honey Ruth
Uh-huh.
Designs.
Oh.
So a lot of great sources for digitals. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, how fun. Yeah, you've named some really good ones. Um, how often do you post on social media? Do you have a schedule that you follow, or just kind of when you feel like it?
So yeah, it's more the latter. I don't really have a schedule. If I haven't posted in a while, I think, oh, I should post something. So
Right.
I'd say try to do about at least once a week, but maybe
Hmm.
twice, 2 or 3 times a week if I'm really on top of things. But now
Right.
that I'm trying to balance the Etsy shop, creating stuff for that, and then doing the YouTube channel, it gets pretty hectic. And then I'm, always grading papers. So
Oh
I'm very
yeah,
busy.
and there's that. um, let's see. Do you make your own digitals at all?
So that's something I'd be interested in maybe doing some in the future, but I
Yeah.
don't currently because I know it seems like it would be fun to have
Hmm.
people could have access to like even some of my dyed papers and some of my ephemera. So it's definitely on my to-do list. If I
Right.
get around to it, I would really like to add some of that to my shop.
It's it's time consuming. I think I've played around with it a little bit, and then it's kind of time consuming.
Yes.
Or at least it is for me because I'm don't know what I'm doing, so I have to stop and learn along the way. Um, I love the Jane Austen journal. My daughter is a big Jane Austen fan, and that one is very, very pretty too. But I love them all, but that one really struck me as gorgeous. Um, how do you stay motivated to keep going and not have those days where, like, ugh, I need to do something else? This is getting to me.
That's
Or do you have those days?
Yes, that's a great question. Definitely. I think a combination of things. I like trying something new. And I do get a lot of inspiration when I go and find and source new
Hmm.
things. For example, just yesterday, I went with my daughter to check out a new thrift shop that we haven't been to before. And I
Uh
get
huh.
so excited. And I found all these cool papers and old lace, and so then I
Oh.
get all these new ideas like, oh, I could do this and that. And I started ripping up some fabric pillowcases. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, I get very inspired by going out and finding new found objects at these different
Right.
places.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I'll bet you guys have some good thrift stores back there, especially for old lace and things like that. I'm in Montana, so we see a lot of it, but I'll bet you see a lot more of it back east.
That's interesting. Yeah, there's a lot of great antique shops around too that also carry
Oh,
that type of thing.
yeah, yeah, fun. Um, if you could tell the audience anything about your journaling journey or what to do, what not to do, would you give them any advice?
So I think it's really important to find things that are inspirational to you
Hmm.
because it can get to be a little bit of a grind. If I'm doing too many things along the same, like if I'm hand dyeing too many things for
Hmm.
too many days in a row, or if
Right.
I'm putting together too many journals and they're all starting to seem too similar, it's like, oh, I need to stop and try something different.
Right.
Sometimes just organizing my studio helps because I can get a new, I find things that I didn't know I even had. It's like, oh, this is cool, maybe I can make something with this. So shop your
Exactly.
stash, that's another
Uh-huh.
good one.
Oh yeah.
So I think just you know, being aware that burnout is a real thing. And sometimes I'll even watch videos on YouTube where, like, if you're burnt out and you don't feel like taking on a big new project, do something little, like, oh, let's
Right.
just make book page pockets today. And
Yeah. Yeah. Who do you follow on YouTube? That's some of your faves out there.
so a lot of different ones, and but I definitely follow some of the same accounts that I follow on Instagram. So,
Mm-hmm.
Sampool, Ruby, and Pearl, Lace Girl, Dodie Williams, and she has some great digitals too that I have enjoyed using. Dorothy Jane
Uh-huh.
Papery, um, a little bit French, Rhonda, and Rhonda at Joy Juntique, Tina Shabby Dabby Doodah, and some of the ones that I started out with watching, Treasure Books and
Mm-hmm.
49 Dragonflies
Mm-hmm.
and Louise Hensel. So just a whole variety of people, and just kind of depending on what mood I'm in. Sometimes I'll just see what's in the For You page and explore new ones.
Right. That's cool. Yeah, I agree with you. Sometimes I get stuck on some things or bored or don't feel that my project is going like I had envisioned it, those
Hmm.
days. And so I'll jump on YouTube and do some little project, like you said, make some tags or do something kind of fun that's short, simple, and it kind of gets you back in the groove, I think. And then you have some stuff to work with.
Yeah, and that's always nice. Build up
I
that
know.
stash.
Right, right. Let's see. I have some lightning round questions for you here. Do you want to play lightning round?
Sure.
Okay. We'll get a real good glimpse into your inner personality here. That I'm just telling you.
Okay,
Very,
watch out.
very deep questions. All right. Red or black licorice?
Red.
Okay. Sweet or savory snacks?
Savory.
City life or country?
Ooh, that's a tough one because I love aspects of both. If I had to
Oh,
pick,
yeah.
it would be country.
Uh-huh. Phone call or text message?
Phone call.
Sunrise or sunset?
Sunset.
Pancakes or waffles?
Pancakes.
Road trip or flying?
Road trip.
Ah, I thought you'd take flying since you like to go to Paris. Rain or snow?
Snow.
Ah, interesting. Do you guys get a lot of snow there?
We do not, but every once in a while we have a huge snowstorm and it's really fun.
Oh, yeah. And it shuts the city down, right?
Yep.
Um, well, anything else you'd like to tell the audience? Our time is about coming to a close. Tell me more about what you do,
I think
journaling wise.
the main thing I would like to share is just the joy of creating is so wonderful, and you can get lost in the flow when you're creating, and it's just so um, a great way to unwind. And then at the end, you've made something beautiful. And so I just encourage everyone to just explore, try new things, see what resonates with you. And, don't be afraid to make ugly art. That's also a thing that I've followed, some of the mixed media people. And
Mhm.
so just encouraging you to try it and see what resonates with you, because that's really how I kept trying different things along the way. Before I
Mhm.
was maybe fully ready or didn't learn all about it, I was just jump in and try it and then see what happens. And I think that kind of attitude has helped me develop my whole genre of work, and also explore different things and find out parts of me that I didn't even know I was interested in so
Right.
much.
Yeah, that's
And
great.
like the old lace thing, I love that. It
Uh-huh.
reminds me about my grandmother, and it brings to
Yeah.
life a lot of happy memories of her and things like that. So, oh, that's a side benefit of working with old things.
Right. And the old papers. You think, wow,
Yes.
who did this? Where'd this come from? That's kind of fun. I find that journaling is one of the really creative, one of the most creative crafts I've ever done. I mean, I've done a lot, and um, it's really creative. Journaling isn't just journaling. There are a lot of different styles out there that you could be attracted to, and of course, if you're like me, you're attracted to all of them. But
Hmm.
yeah, it's very creative.
I agree.
So,
And I have heard some people even say that it's like one of the things that they've been able to stick with, even if they have a tendency to move from all different types of creative
mhm,
pursuits, because there is
interesting.
such variety in it. And I think
Yeah.
that's really cool.
Yeah, that is. Yeah. You can get a room full of junky junk stuff very quickly if you're not careful, or if you are careful. It's kind of fun to see all that good stuff in our studios. Well, thank you very much, Mary, for coming today. Landing in our virtual studio. It's been a lot of fun to visit with you. Enjoyed getting to know you a little better. And to our audience, I'd like to say thank you for tuning in. And be sure to check the box below if you enjoyed Mary. And I will post all her social media information below. And so you can contact her and go see her on YouTube and Instagram and go to her Etsy store. And thank you very much. And thank
Thank
you,
you for
Mary.
having me. Thank you,
You're
Sally.
welcome. Thank you for coming. Bye bye.